My name is Madonna Wuttke and I'm the Executive Officer of Landcare NT, Landcare NT Incorporated, or LNT, as we get a bit lazy in the Northern Territory. So just a quick background on me. I came up to the I'm originally born and bred in Brisbane, came up to the Territory in '99 as a tourist, went home, worked outside of my field for a couple of years, thought this is crazy, what's going on? My friend said, I got a job in Katherine, will you help me drive up there? I said, no problem, I'm on my way to Perth. So I helped her drive up here. The Victoria River was flooded, so I couldn't get through. I got offered a job, I met my husband, I had 3 kids, and I'm still there. So that was 2002. Landcare NT, formed in 2015, so quite a new organisation. Oh, I should get on to the next slide. Funded by the National Landcare Program, and it's the peak representative body for community landcare groups in the Northern Territory. I'm referring to those groups that are known as landcare groups, friends of groups, land management associations, etc. Essentially any community group undertaking natural resource management activities in the community. LNT supports groups from the ground up, understanding our members' priorities and finding opportunities to advance those priorities. It represents and advocates on behalf of its members for a supported landcare network in the Northern Territory. It promotes landcare group activities, challenges, successes to the community, and highlights to decision makers about what's working on the ground and what's not. We also act as a conduit between NT government agencies, industry groups, research bodies, and non-government organisations to create partnerships, increase collaboration, and share knowledge. Landcare NT is a member of the National Landcare Network, or the NLN, which is the peak representative body for community landcare groups across Australia, and works to provide a voice for landcare at the national level. Landcare NT participates in national projects, campaigns, and policy development, ensuring to maintain a grassroots approach. Our role: to share information, to maximise opportunities, to build community capacity, to make connections and promote landcare. There are currently 19 member groups in the Northern Territory, a mixture of urban, remote and school groups, and 5 associate members. Landcare NT is directed by a 5-member volunteer committee and staffed by 1 part-time executive officer. We are a small NGO with big ambitions. Some of the challenges to delivering our role. There's been a noticeable decline in support for community landcare in the Northern Territory since I arrived in 2002. Based on my personal experience and conversations with our members and interstate colleagues, I believe this is the result of several factors. Cuts to natural resource management funding across Australia, which is quite a broad statement. A noticeable shift from local to national natural resource management priorities and decision making. A decrease in the number of NT government extension officers working in natural resource management. Now, it is difficult to assess exact numbers as there have been so many departmental name and configuration changes over the years, but roughly the number of staff working in NRM was halved from 2003 to 2020. This has really limited the ability of the NT government to assist landcare groups and participate in information sharing opportunities. Another challenge, the capacity building component of grant funds has diminished over the years. When they still existed in the Northern Territory, Landcare Group roles became increasingly tied to biodiversity outcomes, which made things difficult because we know that in order to get the biodiversity outcomes, we have to have capacity building. Regional coordinator roles turned into project officer positions as funding priorities narrowed. As groups lost their coordinators, they also lost the capacity to collaborate with other organisations, manage on-ground projects, leverage additional funding, and subsidise ongoing administrative costs, such as the essential element of insurance. Greening Australia withdrew from Katherine and Alice Springs about 10 years ago, and then in Darwin in November 2019, along with Conservation Volunteers Australia. These two organisations were valued by Landcare groups as a reliable source of advice, labour, and healthy local native plants at affordable prices. Another challenge. Natural resource management funding seems to be based on population rather than landmass. I can understand why you do that with health, education, or policing, but not land management. One example of this is the distribution of regional agriculture Landcare facilitators, which I'll discuss later. The value of coordinator roles. Coordinators, particularly those working with remote Landcare groups, provide an important and trusted contact point for landholder inquiries. Station managers in the Northern Territory often move between properties and regions and have relied on Landcare group coordinators as a one-stop shop for crucial natural resource management information. Landcare Victoria recently commissioned a report titled Cost Benefit Analysis of the Victorian Landcare Facilitator Program. According to the report, coordinators build partnerships, secure grants, and support project delivery. Projects that are delivered by Landcare often contribute to high priority public policy objectives such as the mitigation of climate change impacts, building resilience in the agricultural industry to adapt to climate change impacts, supporting Australia's contribution to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, building resilience in regional communities impacted by drought, bushfires, and the recent COVID-19, increasing community capacity through training, awareness and education, and productivity improvements in the industry. In the report, facilitators are estimated to return more than $7 for every dollar invested, as they play a crucial leveraging role in the state. Landcare Support nationally. Landcare Victoria and Landcare New South Wales have been very successful in lobbying their state governments for coordinator funding. In Victoria, which is 3% of Australia's landmass, the Victorian government supports 68 local facilitators and 10 regional coordinators. In New South Wales, which is 10% of Australia's landmass, the New South Wales government supports 72 local coordinators and 12 regional coordinators. In the Northern Territory, which is 17% of Australia's landmass, there are no local or regional coordinators. Regional Agriculture Landcare Facilitators, or RALFs, as we refer to them. RALFs are funded by the Australian government to support farmers, industry and community groups, including Landcare groups, to adopt new and innovative sustainable agriculture practices. New South Wales have 16 of these positions, Now, I just want to state, I'm not clear if these are part-time positions or full-time positions. I didn't quite get that far in my research. So they have 16. Victoria have 12, and Western Australia, which is 33% of Australia's land mass, have 11. So if we were to base some numbers on the New South Wales rate, Northern Territory should have 27 of these positions. If we based it on the Victoria rate, we should have 68 of these positions based on landmass. Based on the WA rate, Northern Territory should have approximately 6. The Northern Territory has 1 part-time regional agriculture Landcare facilitator, working 2 days per week. Now, one could argue that the NT does not currently have the intensity of land use that New South Wales and Victoria have. But since 2014, the Northern Territory Government has been assessing land for suitability for a range of agricultural crops. Mapping the Future is a 5-year, $10 million Northern Territory Government initiative. Agricultural development will increase in the Northern Territory in the coming years. The need for a supported Landcare network in the NT is vital. So now that I've told you all of the negative things, I'm going to try and focus on some solutions, which was supposed to be the bigger part of my talk, but it's easy to focus on the negatives. We really need to start considering natural resource management funding based on land mass and natural assets rather than population. Landcare NT will continue to identify areas of collaboration with other organisations, advocate for a more equitable distribution of regional agriculture Landcare facilitators, lobby for NT government supported operational resources such as insurance. We will continue to showcase the work of Landcare groups in the Northern Territory and advocate on our members' behalf for more support. We will continue to work with our colleagues in the National Landcare Network to identify and develop innovative solutions to support community Landcare. We will continue to contribute to national natural resource management program development and delivery in order to increase alignment between Landcare group priorities and funding bodies, and increase access to and incorporate more local knowledge into decision-making processes. Oh, good. I'm nearly finished. The following 3 presentations are from Landcare NT member groups who continue to find innovative solutions to everyday challenges in their local communities. In the words of the Honourable Bob Hawke in his speech to launch the Decade of Landcare, he speaks about the importance of cooperation to care for the land. The degradation of our environment is not simply a local problem, nor a problem for one state or another, nor for the Commonwealth alone. Rather, the damage being done to our environment is a problem for us all, and not just government, but for all of us individually and together. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Madonna. That was very articulate, and I'm